Okay, this is the tutorial on strategy, and we're not going to get too in depth into this because as we go on and we're doing live coverage on the Sunday afternoon YouTube live stream, we're going to talk a lot about strategy as we keep going with that next year when things are live and there's money on the line and that kind of a thing. So we're just going to go into just some basic strategy now, especially if you're a free member. And of course, everyone here now is a VIP member, so you all have the VIP features. But if you're a free member, you're not going to have the features mentioned in the tutorial. In the VIP tutorial, you're only going to be able to make your picks before the very first game, and if you don't make all your picks, you will be disqualified from the leaderboard. So you have to do that. So if you're a free member, basically the only strategy you have is if you want to try to pick an upset at 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever. And remember, you win the game, you win the points. You lose the game, you lose the points. So it's not about really winning the most games. There's many times where people will lose 1 or 2 games and still win the week, less than the second or third person below them because they are losing lower games. And so my thing is always, if you're losing, the top games, whether it's 14 or whether it's 15 or whether it's 16, if you're losing any of those games, 16 through 11, 14 through 10 or whatever, you're going to be in big trouble. But if you're losing games consistently from 1 through 5 or 1 through 3, you're going to be at the top of the leaderboard every week. And that's about all I can tell you for the free people. Now, for the VIP features, it's a little bit of a different story because you can make changes as the weekend goes on. So, for instance, let's say you picked 14 and it was a bad upset. So you've got to make up those 14 points. You can go back in and sort of recalibrate. Maybe you had a really aggressive week on your picks. Now you can go back into your weekly picks and you can reset them, look at the VIP pick stats and where everybody else is going in terms of the trend for that particular game. So for instance here, if you had the Jaguars, if you had the Texans and you thought it was going to be an upset, you may want to think about resetting that. Or if you have the Jaguars and you need to pick up points on the rest of the membership, you may want to pick the Texans, not necessarily at a high one, but you want to just go for it and hope that you get an upset back from the upset that you had, picking whatever particular team you had high. So I hope that makes sense to you. Also, you got to remember, even though I don't think it's that important because the timestamp does come into play. So if you, as we talked in the scoring tutorial, if you go to the leaderboard and you've got confidence tie, tiebreaker tie, then it goes to the timestamp. So if you do make picks and save them later on in the week, you dip down below the person who made their picks and saved them and stuck with their save because that timestamp is going to be earlier than yours. So there's all kinds of strategies that you can employ, especially with the VIP stats, and especially coming down to the last few games, because if you want to look at somebody's picks and say there's only 2 games left, they're picking the same team you're picking at 2, and the Monday night game at 1, and you've got them at maybe 13 and 4 or something like that, you may want to switch up those teams according to the rank, or maybe even change the picks so that, basically, because if you have the same teams and, different ranks, you can't win by winning the same game. In other words, the teams, if you win the points. If they win the points. But if you switch it up and say, okay, well, I'm going to go for the other team, and just I can't win the other way. So if I get lucky and there's an upset, I can win that way. So I'm going to switch teams, and you can do that on the last 2 games of the night. You can do it in the afternoon, but it's not as definitive as it is in the last 2 games, or even on the last game on Monday night. So let's say that on Monday night, this person has the Bills at 14, okay, and you have the Bills as well, but you're both about 2 points apart. So if they win, let's say you have the Bills at 10. If they win, they're going to win 14, you're going to win 10. You can't win if you've got the Bills, right? So let's say you just pick the Dolphins just for the hell of it. You don't think they're going to win, but you pick the Dolphins because if the Bills lose, they're going to lose points and you're going to win points, and that's the only way you're going to win. So why not change the strategy? Because you can't win by staying with the Bills. So there's all kinds of things that come into play here. And we're going to, like I said, when we're doing the live stream, we're going to talk more each day as to what are some of the strategies that people may employ in order to make this happen. And believe me, as it gets bigger and as this goes to the $100 payout, and hopefully it's going to even get bigger than that, these strategies are going to be important, and you're going to want to learn how to play, because there's going to be some people that come in and know how to play and know how to strategize. So anyways, you can always email me if you have any strategy at info@pointpickers.com, and we can talk about it, or you can always comment on the video as well. So anyways, that's a little bit of strategy for you. I hope you have fun with this, and we'll see you week by week.